Hey everybody, how's it going? Jeremy from the Independence Channel, Real Truth. Today's episode is going to be a quick one. The IRS scandal under Barack Obama that was reported by Jon Stewart from The Daily Show way back in the day. Jon Stewart was very popular. I still have a lot of respect for Jon's intellect, and he brings to light a lot of crazy stuff, including calling out Barack Obama at the height of Barack Obama's popularity before all of his scandals did start to come out. And then the mainstream media, all right, or just the propaganda media complex in general, was able to cover up Mr. Obama's many scandals, okay? For example, the fact that Barack Obama arrested more whistleblowers in the history of any other president combined, or the fact that he monopolized the drug trade by eliminating drug cartels in Mexico by giving them guns. This would be Operation Fast and Furious, right? We have an opioid epidemic in this country, so one has to wonder about these things. And another would include the IRS scandal that occurred about 10 years ago, and Jon Stewart accurately and openly reported this. This is going to be reported by Valuetainment, which I'm going to show you a clip of, where Joe Biden wants to invest $80 billion into the IRS to go after other funds that they believe that Americans are hiding from the government. And we're talking about a huge return on investment. We're talking about going after business owners, so on and so forth. And so what you are essentially seeing is extreme government overreach in a time when they have no money to fund these communist and what I call techno-feudal neo-serfdom type of investment into our economy, basically. We talk about increasing the amount of time we spend at school, increasing minimum wage, becoming slaves to the corporations who are able to take this investment, buy back their own assets, and increase the cost of living while simultaneously influencing our super PACs and thus delegation votes in our elections, okay? So if our cost of living is increasing from corporatized America and corporation has more authority in our elections than we do, isn't this taxation without representation? So they're going after everybody. And this is an example.
Biden to seek an extra $80 billion for IRS to enhance enforcement, the Hill says. President Biden is expected to propose giving the IRS an additional $80 billion and added authority to facilitate his plan to target high earners who avoid paying taxes, the New York Times reported Tuesday. The enforcement is a key part of Biden's plan to pay for his social infrastructure legislation, dubbed the American Families Plan. The effort is expected to cost at least $1 trillion and is aimed at reducing inequality by making investments in affordable child care and paid family leave, free community college, and other issues. The Times reported that administration officials believe the IRS crackdown could raise as much as $700 billion over the next 10 years, paying for a chunk of the planned bill, citing two sources close to the issue. The Times reported that the added money and authorities provide the IRS would go along with new disclosure requirements for those who own businesses not organized as corporations and wealthy individuals who could be hiding income. So spending $80 billion to hire more IRS agents, what are your thoughts on that, Adam?
I think...
Kai, did you get that?
Okay, so I also read the article, and number one, it's written by the New York Times, which should indicate many alarm bells, okay, should be ringing right now. These are the same people who lead us into war after war. These are the same people who pushed the Russiagate propaganda narrative that it turns out the media complex was used to accuse others of that which the establishment was caught doing. That's a fact. If you read the Mueller report, we're not going to go into it. But if you understand what's going on, the New York Times is going to cover and make it appear as if this implementation, this new proposed legislation, will target just wealthy people. But if you heard what Valuetainment just said at the end there, with targeting people with small businesses that don't identify as large corporations, okay? This is everyday Americans. And think about the amount of Americans who, in as organized fashion as possible, adapted to what was going on to COVID. Imagine the amount of people who have decided on their own terms to go about entrepreneurship or starting to build a company or a business. Imagine this. Imagine this. $80 billion invested in the United States government. We're already spending a large amount on military, more than anything else. It's the largest part of our budget. Think about beefing up the IRS. Think about beefing up the intelligence agencies, because that's what's happened. All of the black money that goes into ensuring that our perception of reality is managed and controlled. And now let's take a listen to Jon Stewart roughly 10 years ago.
But here's the thing. Why bother? Why bother fighting O'Reilly? It doesn't matter. It doesn't even make sense to argue with him because facts don't matter to that side. In their paranoid, fevered dreams, the State Department and the CIA changing talking points is irrefutable evidence Obama left people to die so that he could swing Ohio, despite there being no shred of evidence to validate their full-blown right-wing persecution victimization complex.
The Internal Revenue Service admitted today that some of its employees targeted conservative political groups for extra scrutiny in violation of its own policy and despite its earlier denials.
Mother son of a bitch! No, mother What did you do?
In the spring of 2010, just as the Tea Party movement was gaining steam, a group of IRS specialists were told to focus on organizations with, quote, political-sounding names seeking tax-exempt status.
That could be anybody. Political sounding name, that's not right wing. It could be Hippies for Change or Occupy Ralph Nader. I mean, it's not necessarily just right wing.
Groups with names like We the People or Take Back the Country.
Okay, that's right wing.
Specialists were told to be on the lookout for Tea Party applications, along with groups whose mission was to educate about the Constitution.
Oh, okay, all right. In their defense, there is a good reason why people using the IRS to crack down on political enemies would not want Americans educated about the Constitution. And while the tax-exempt status that all political groups get is kind of bull, it's bull that should at least be granted fairly and equitably, spread around evenly, if you will. So unlike much of the Benghazi inquiry, this seems like a genuine
Party
scam.
or patriots.
Explanation, please, let's say from seems like a genuine scandal. So explanation, please, let's say from the individual who oversees tax-exempt organizations for the IRS.
They used names like Tea Party or Patriots, and they selected cases simply because the application had those names in the title. That was wrong. The IRS would like to apologize for that.
Oh, okay, thank you. I appreciate. Wait a minute! I didn't realize apologies were sufficient in IRS-related issues. Hold on one minute.
All right, so Jon Stewart says in his words 9-10 years ago, I didn't say it. They do. These people do these actions. All right, this is the bureaucratic establishment that I'm talking about. And I want you to think about something. We want to inject a massive amount of money over a period of time into the United States government so that these government bureaucratic officials or those working for these bureaucratic officials, the majority of people are good people who want to earn a living and have good benefits. They believe in the American dream. But they are minions to the bureaucratic establishment who wishes to inject more money to give them more authority into going after your wealth and your well-being. It doesn't matter who you are. Actually, it does, right? As Jon Stewart just says. They want to beef up the IRS that's known for targeting specific groups of people. It doesn't have to be just limited to political affiliation. This is potentially massive discrimination. So you're beefing up the establishment government to go after potentially political opposition groups, groups that are in opposition of the bureaucratic establishment. Under the guise of white supremacist, ultra right-wing conservative conspiracy groups, this is the mainstream narrative. Think about this, folks. Beef up the government to target individuals' wealth under the guise of going after the wealthy. If you read the article itself, it's not just going after the wealthy. And even if it does just mention that in detail, you will find startling and disturbing things. I guarantee it. Think about it, folks. A large bureaucratic government going after people's money. If you don't have money and capital, you can't live through your ideas. If it's controlled, so are your ideas potentially. I'm going to leave you with Francis Hunt, the crypto market sniper on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com and find the market sniper and crypto sniper. Francis Hunt understands what's going on, and we call it like it actually is. We live in reality. Whether it's on fire or not, this is what we do. We are independent minds, and we need to stay that way. So God bless, and everybody have a great day. Stay motivated and stay independent.
So that they could finish this end game for their larger goal of crashing the economy and impoverishing the masses and creating a billionaire class for the select few that understood the script and are part of their cartel and process. That is what's happening. You are trying to survive in one of the most bizarre and overlording, overreaching times ever experienced in economic, social history. This is a coup of the world. You are participating or witnessing a coup d'etat of the entire planet by a cartel. And the financial destruction thereof is the processes you are now witnessing. Understand what that means and take appropriate action. This is a coup d'etat of the planet.